All right, let's get a check of the weather impacts tonight. And of course, we've been mentioning here this cool down. We have meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees standing by to talk about just how much of a change we're expecting. Ooh, okay, we got a sneak peek a little bit, Britt.
Yeah, you did get a little sneak peek. I guess I showed you that at the end of the last weather. But yeah, we are going to be talking about much colder air coming. But the first thing that really changes is this weekend. We see a pretty nice chance of rain across really the entire region. And then, of course, up in the mountains and a little bit of the foothills, we're talking about a wintry mix. So here's what's happening right now. Let's talk about the near term first. Upper 40s. It feels like the mid 40s. It is definitely a cold evening across the area. In fact, overnight, temperatures are going to fall to around the freezing mark as early as midnight. The reason why I point that out here is this morning we had wind chills near freezing, but at 7 o'clock. Tonight, that's going to happen much earlier. And then as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning, we're actually going to be in the upper 20s with feels like numbers even lower than that. You can actually see this as we look at the wind chills ahead toward tomorrow morning. Spots, of course, in the foothills could get even close to the 20-degree mark, but the mountains, no doubt about it, are going to be the coldest. We're talking single-digit wind chills this evening. Now into Friday morning, it is still going to be very cold, but temperatures won't be quite as cold. We're talking teens, mountains, 30s here. But a big shot of cold air comes in this weekend. That's what's going to help bring us that cold enough air to see that tiny little bit of wintry mix. That means that the mountain areas, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, if not about 6 to 10 below zero for the wind chills. And here in the Charlotte area, we will feel like the upper teens. So a really big cool down coming, especially as we enter the weekend. In fact, the weekend forecast, here you go. It is much colder, even in the afternoon. High temperatures Saturday only reaching the mid 40s. This is about 10 degrees below average for this time of year. Sunday, kind of a rinse repeat forecast in the morning and in the afternoon before that rain starts to move in. So here's kind of the setup over the next few days. We have a weak system passing by on Friday. This will bring a small, about 20% chance of rain for a brief shower in the Charlotte area. But this will be that next chance to see rain if you're up in the mountains, Ashwaubenon and Avery County. Boom, it's moving through, and it's moving through quickly. But a secondary system starts to approach by Sunday especially. Now, models have been a little bit off and on about what exactly time frame here. I don't think Sunday will be a complete washout, but I do think a lot of the afternoon is going to see some rain, and then this will continue into Monday morning. Now, here's what's really important to think about when we think about our typical trends and patterns when it comes to winter precipitation possible in, of course, our entire area, is that we need established cold so that when a low comes in, we have a better chance of getting wintry mix or even snow for areas south of the mountains and foothills. So this is really that first big one. It's very unlikely that we'll see any kind of wintry mix really substantially mix in for areas in Charlotte South. It's not out of the question that with that cold rain, you couldn't see a tiny bit of, something frozen mixed in, but this is mainly going to be mountains and even portions here of the foothills. If you looked at that map I just showed you a second ago that had that little sliver of green there from Catawba County north, that is that small chance of a little bit of wintry mix again Sunday night into Monday. But that moves through pretty quickly, and again, it's going to be a big probably rain impact and wet roadways impact, but not much more than that. But a secondary and then eventually a third system trying to move in by that second full week of the year. We've been talking about that second full week of the year a lot. As we get past the 7th and the 8th, and we look ahead toward the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and 12th, that upcoming weekend, check out the 7-day, but eventually the 10-day forecast. It would be potentially these days that would be more likely to bring some kind of wintry mix if we were to see that for areas closer to Charlotte and maybe even a little bit of snow, because again, the cold would be established. We would have already had something come through. At this point, it is too early to know, but we have had relatively consistent up and down model data showing that at least something is possible. But again, those days, we're talking the 9th and the 10th. So with this one, again, it's going to be a mess. Cold rain, it's going to be a mess, but it's likely not going to produce any wintry precipitation again here in Charlotte.